Or have you ever wondered what would happen if the greatest player of all time was to play in Platinum ELO? What's up, GameLeap? It's the Chiz, and in today's video we are going to be watching FAKER play a game in Platinum ELO. Now this game will show you that the actual difference between a Challenger and a Platinum in terms of laning isn't actually that big, but what it will show us is that there is just a big difference in terms of map awareness and general understanding of the game. Now before we get into it, hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any of our daily uploads, and let's go. And the first thing you can do as a mid laner is to ward the enemy jungle entrance on their red side. This means that for champions like Syndra, J4, Kindred, level 2 ganking becomes impossible just because you will see them. So in this game, FAKER is playing LeBlanc against a Rumble in the mid lane, so at range against melee matchup, and you can see that after clearing these first 3 melee minions, FAKER is going to auto attack these ranged minions just once. What this means is that he secures the push, in other words level 2 first, and Rumble, because FAKER is positioning pretty much on top of this minion wave collision, cannot actually move up to contest this wave just because it's too risky. He'll take way too much damage. So FAKER's positioning and actual minion wave control here is very important. And just because he does have this minion wave advantage, even when his Q is on cooldown here, this means that he can actually jump in because Rumble has pretty much no minions to attack FAKER, and he can get in this nice little trait. But notice again how his positioning is pretty much on top of this minion wave, but when Rumble does actually move forward here, FAKER can't really trade just because his W is on cooldown. Even auto attacking and queuing Rumble will draw minion aggro, which probably isn't worth. So FAKER just decides to focus on the minion wave and again securing the level 3 push. Now in this situation you might be like, why doesn't FAKER actually trade with the Rumble here? He's level 3 against a level 2 Rumble, but the issue here is by running past his minion wave, this means the Rumble can land his Electro Harpoon onto him, so FAKER again just sits in the minion wave, but in a position where if Rumble was to move up, he can land his Q, his W, his E. He's just in a position to punish the melee champion for moving up too close to the wave. And as you can see, Rumble can't really touch this minion wave apart from Eing it. That's pretty much it. This over time will deny minions, and as you will see very soon, FAKER is going to have a significant CS advantage. Now when the wave eventually gets into Rumble's tower, you can see that as soon as FAKER auto attacks and then Qs the Rumble, he immediately runs back. This is just to de-aggro the minions, and it's a very important skill to develop. You never just want to stand still or even run into the enemy champion when you're attacking them near their minions. And you're going to see exactly the same thing here. So FAKER combos the Rumble and immediately distortions back because he does not want to take more minion aggro than he has to. If he was to stay in Rumble's minions, he would take way too much damage and honestly probably lose this trade. But even FAKER, guys, even though he is the GOAT, makes mistakes. So I want you to point out the mistake he makes here. Why do you think he jumps in? Is there any reason for it? Because I think with Talon nearby, FAKER should actually save his chains for when Talon is actually going to gank. The Talon is too far away to actually capitalize on any CC FAKER brings, so he should just wait here. So whenever your jungler is ganking, don't use your spells before they get there. Have them ready so you can actually coordinate your abilities with your junglers. This means that Talon, instead of actually ganking mid because he knows that FAKER used his chains, is actually just going to do the Raptor camp here and then base. Now for Rumble, he should definitely recall here, and this is one of the big mistakes this low elo player makes. Instead of recalling on this wave and running back to mid lane with Source Shoes or a blasting one, whatever it is he buys, he decides to stay for another wave. The issue with this is that because you're already level 5 and you haven't based already, if other champions in the game have based, most likely they have, then you really are behind in terms of items. So the longer you stay on the map, the weaker you essentially become. And also for Rumble as well, if you notice where he just came from, FAKER even pings this, Rumble has probably warded Talon's Raptor camp. This means that for Rumble, if he is going to get ganked by anyone, it will probably be from the bot side here. So why does this player hold the middle of the lane? He should be on the north side of the lane because this gives him enough time and space to react to any possible gank. And because of this mispositioning, he opens himself up to the Nami gank, and he does eventually die to their Talon. Even in this situation, the Rumble is on 100 HP. Like, what are the advantages of staying here? You're still not going to hit level 6 off this wave, so staying here is just suicide, and Talon eventually kills it. So even though this Rumble has played the lane pretty well, and he even almost solo killed FAKER, the issue here is just general map awareness and understanding that the game is not just a 1v1. Otherwise, you'll be playing Howling Abyss. It's Summoner's Rift, it's a 5v5. Now, FAKER, after recalling because he has teleport, teleports to the bot lane and eventually picks up the kill on this Gragas. Now, the reason this works is simply because the enemy champions have overextended so much. This is really important to consider when you are TPing. This just makes the enemy champions more killable. So the bigger chance there is of you actually getting a kill when you teleport, this makes it more viable. You never just want to be TPing if the enemy champions are on full HP and under their tower. Now, when FAKER returns to lane, he is going to kill the Rumble again thanks to his teammates. And even though Rumble is doing fine in this 1v1, again, it's just a case of respecting the map and understanding that the enemy support is not in the bot lane, the enemy Talon can gank mid, the enemy champion you're against, this being LeBlanc, is very good at setting up ganks, and after you shove this wave, just recall. There's no reason to hang around, and again, just because he's so keen on damaging FAKER, he ends up dying once again. So from these first 2 deaths, there is always a time and a place to trade with your opponent. Sometimes it's just best to respect the map and back off. So after killing the Rumble, FAKER is obviously going to shove this wave out, recall, and as you can see, he has a 12 CS lead and is in a great position to hard carry this game. Now when FAKER returns to lane, he probably understands that when Rumble is standing in this position, his kill pressure is actually very small. So what FAKER does is something all of you should do when you're winning lane like this. Just shove your wave and then go to roam. Try to influence the map and make plays elsewhere when the enemy champion you're against is pretty useless. Now when FAKER roams through this brush, he puts a pink ward down. This just gives him more control and pick potential. And after realizing that he can't really make a play in this bot lane, he decides to fight the Rumble again, knowing Rumble at the moment probably doesn't have his ultimate because he used it before, and FAKER ends up chunking him, and then when Rumble's ultimate is actually back up, he also blows this as well. But can you see the difference between FAKER and this Rumble here? FAKER has no teammates near the mid lane, so he knows, just because of the map and what it's telling him, fighting the Rumble in a fist fight is going to be risky because there is a chance other enemy champions are actually near this lane. So FAKER just respects this, gives Rumble no chance of actually killing him, and lets the wave come into him and picks up all this XP. Sometimes minimizing those losses and deaths is just as impactful as maximizing those gains and kills. Now FAKER, after shoving the next wave, recalls and is going to return to the mid lane, and this is a cannon wave. Now in this situation, because FAKER is extremely strong and ahead of Rumble by about 20 CS, he knows that fighting the Rumble in a 1v1 is very doable. But this is why when Rumble actually runs at him here, FAKER takes on this trade. He also knows that Talon is nearby, so what FAKER is going to do is actually position on the high side of this mid lane, which is naturally going to force Rumble to stay on the bottom side. This pushes him into Talon, and they eventually pick up the kill here, and even when Kindred comes, it's way too late, and FAKER picks himself up a double kill. So again, this Rumble no doubt can play Rumble, but his actual understanding of the map and timing his fights, this is something he can definitely work on. Now FAKER is going to stay here because Talon has Rift Herald, and all of a sudden the enemy Syndra appears. Now Talon and FAKER almost kill him, and as soon as this play ends, FAKER should immediately recall. This is because Rumble is going to be back in lane very quickly, and if you just think about the map for a second, there is every chance that FAKER might get ganked by someone else, and if you think about it for a second, staying in this situation means that FAKER's next real action is just a recall. So at the moment, his team is really 4v5ing. Now he does eventually recall, and he does get back to mid lane, but you can see how he missed 1 minion for this. Now with this next wave as well, you can see that the enemy Rumble is running towards the bot lane. Now this play from Rumble is kind of okay, but his bot lane is hard losing, so running down here as Rumble probably means that he's going to die or not going to be able to do anything. So again, it's a little mistake from Rumble. Now FAKER in return just shoves this mid wave, so Rumble is going to miss all these minions, and FAKER even picks up the first tower here. So also knowing your roams and knowing where to roam is super important for Rumble, and after getting this mid tower, Rumble also dies in the bot lane, and it's just because he's running towards a lane that isn't really that fed. And during this fight, FAKER TPs in, picks up a couple of assists, and at this point the game is all but over. Him and Talon then chase the Kai'Sa down, he then shoves out the mid wave, recalls, and at this stage of the game he is 3-0-4, Rumble is 0-4, and it becomes a complete demolition after this. So again, in terms of laning, this Rumble isn't really that far behind FAKER, all things considered, but in terms of actual general map awareness and game understanding, there is a lot to be desired. So take these tips into your games, guys. Thank you so much for watching. If you did enjoy the video, let us know by leaving a like down below, and remember to check out the GameLeap website before you leave. We have all the champion courses, the guides, the VOD analyses, everything that you need, okay, to improve as a player and to reach your ranked goals this season. We have those tips, we have those videos on the website, so sign up, links in the description and comment section. And until tomorrow's daily upload, this has been the Cheers.